caught me in a rare moment of musical repose, something I don't really get the chance for anymore. However, you've joined me in my first venture into the Geek Syndicate YouTube channel, something I like to call Mouthing Off with Monts, or The Real Monts, or I don't know. I'm in the game for a new name. So to talk about today is comics. I'm going to talk about some mainstream comics, and welcome actually to the first part of what I'm calling the Convergence Multiversity Battle World Secret Wars Review. Everyone seems to be playing at the Multiverse these days, and I'm going to start looking at DC's attempt to capture a multiverse event. So we're going to talk Convergence. Now, every few years, DC seems to want to restructure everything, and this is their latest attempt to do that. It's called Convergence. There is a main series of 8 issues, and there's a whole heap of tie-ins which are 2 issues each. So, what's Convergence about? In this, an old Superman foe called Brainiac, I'm going to call him Ultra Brainiac because he's kind of brings every iteration of Brainiac there's ever been plus better. And he's disappeared after capturing cities from around the multiverse, different timelines, different zones, different dimensions, and he's brought all these cities, the last of their civilizations, to this planet, put them under a dome, and they've been there for a year. However, Brainiac has disappeared, and in his place is his servant Telos, who's the living embodiment of the planet that they're on. However, Telos gets a bit confused about what they're doing there, and after a year decides to remove the dome, and it's time for all these different civilizations to fight each other for survival. Enter the heroes of Earth 2. Earth 2 has been pretty much destroyed, and so Telos is pretty confused when these guys are here without their city. So the 8 issues of Convergence basically follows these heroes across the landscape, looks at the allies and the foes they encounter, and eventually ends up with a cataclysmic battle for the future of the multiverse. So what you've got is these 8 issues, and you've also got a number of tie-ins, a whole host, which are 2 issues each one looking at a different city or 2. What's great about these is it's a chance to see characters that you maybe used to read in the 80s or way back in the day, or characters you haven't seen in DC's New 52, which is their latest iteration of the universe. It's a fantastic opportunity. But for now, what do we think about Convergence? Well, to begin with, this whole timeline, grabbing cities from different timeline things, doesn't make sense because some of the different cities exist in the same timeline. So if one city is meant to be an example of the last of their civilization, then that one shouldn't be there anyway, because it just doesn't really work. So in order to truly enjoy Convergence, I think personally you kind of got to go, let's let that slide, shall we? If you do that, you may enjoy yourself. The other problem is, if you haven't been following Earth 2, it might be kind of hard to get involved in these particular heroes' journey. For me, I loved Earth 2. It was one of the best titles that DC been doing recently. So for me, it was just a natural continuation for that. Having said that, there is lots of backstory given to you. You don't need to be mired in their continuity to get into it. It's just you come to them cold, but their story is explained. So it's okay. The story itself, I thought it was enjoyable. It wasn't bad. Unfortunately, it is kind of standard superhero fare. It's quite epic in scope, but it's fairly standard in execution, I think. And that's not to say it's bad, it's just nothing really new. I think the great strength of Convergence is actually in the tie-ins. It's a good story, but it won't change your world. That's Convergence. I'm Monts. We out.